Alright, I think there's not much content on Pauper, Jeskai Ephemerate on YouTube. So for that reason, I'm going to record one league with this deck. And with this specific deck list, I think that this is the best way to play the deck at the end of the current year, the Magic Online metagame. The metagame on Magic Online is somewhat um, particular. I don't know if this is the right way to call it. After all, we know more or less which decks we can expect to face, mostly burn decks, Mono-Red Rally, Mono-Red Madness, and Arachnos Madness, but there's a decent amount of other very difficult matchups like Mono Blue Tail. So, without taking in mind burn decks and terror decks, the other part of the metagame is very wide. Yeah, I guess we can say we can expect a lot of very different decks. At least if you aren't going to face very specific decks, maybe graveyard-based combos like Spy. Yeah, because those decks usually tend to be present on the leagues or in the challenges much more if they get a decent result in the challenge because people want to try the deck list. So unless just to say spy with the challenge, usually you are not going to face so many copies of very specific decks. Yeah, beside mono red and mono blue. So, for keeping that in mind, mono red and mono blue, I tried to build a deck list that somewhat is able to endure mostly those decks. Even though Oblitireate is very difficult matchup because in the main deck you can't really have a decent Ramelos besides Scred. So kind of unusual for this kind of content. We are taking a look first of the sideboard because you know I think we can try a very radical approach with the sideboard of this deck. Hydroblast and Pyroblast are the most powerful 1 mana answer to the current meta decks. So for that reason, we are going to play 5 copies of Hydroblast and 3 copies of Elemental Blast or Pyroblast, while usually we play at most 4 copies of those cards in this specific deck. Because you are playing a reactive deck, you're playing a 3 colors deck. For that reason, you usually prefer to have larger amount and variety of answers. You know, we are going to play as well 4 copies of Good vs Faithful as an answer to burn, yeah, as a way to get some life back. And to be honest, I haven't thought every Jeskai deck list plays Union of the Third Pact. I believe the card is not quite good. In my opinion, the card is 3 mana instant speed card that get you back some life is not really great. Okay, you can get back with just 1 card in 1 single turn up to 7, 8 life. Okay, to be honest, the card is way overcosted and mm, usually you don't get so much life against the mono red. Yeah, they have Pyroblast to counter your card advantage, but usually card advantage doesn't really matter much for against them. I mean, yeah, they may have the cards like Ranger's Soul, the Reckless Impulse, or Guard the Prize to get us some sort of card advantage or card draw. But to be honest, most of their cards doesn't really matter when you are able to get some life with the Godforce Faithful and your Hydroblast. Usually tend to be helpful to protect your relevant cards, just to say Archimancer with Ephemerate, or Godforce Faithful, or to counter the troublesome stuff like Gutter's Knife. Alright, so let's take a look at the main deck. So, in my opinion, Brainstorm it is much better than Protein, yeah, as a card by itself, but specifically in this deck, in the metagame. Protein is great when every card you draw can be potentially good, and when you try to get more card advantage from Protein. Um, yeah, if you are able to see more than just one card with per lane, which is good, and you want to keep it. Per lane, generally speaking, is good, but Princeton, the metagame, very wild metagame where you are in need of very specific cards, and most of your cards don't really do much in certain matchups. Brainstorm can be even better because it's more powerful as a card advantage. Being able to draw 3 new cards and get rid of 2 useless cards is very, very powerful. And you can get some selection with the Brainstorm. With Brainstorm, thanks to Perilous Landscape and Ogre of Bolas. You also have Cleansing Wildfire as well. So you have 4, 8, 11 cards that can shuffle your top deck. And you also have Long Revealed. So I think 15 cards able to shuffle your top deck makes Brainstorm very good. By playing Brainstorm over Protein, you are very likely not going to cast Brainstorm in the first one or second turn, because being able to shuffle or to play an Ogre of Bolas after casting Brainstorm is kind of difficult in the early game compared to the late game, because maybe you don't always have untapped lands bought on your first 2 turns. To be honest, Protein is an easier card to play, but when you have enough experience with blue-based decks, to be honest, I think you can easily approach Brainstorm as a card. To be honest, another reason to play Brainstorm is because you like the card. So if you feel comfortable with Brainstorm, and if you think Brainstorm is good, or if you just don't care about what your opponent is playing, slotting Brainstorm over Preordain is pretty much easy. Alright, so another change compared to maybe other decklists is playing Galvanic Discharge and not playing any other way to generate energy counters. I played Jeskai for a really long time. The last time I tried Jeskai, I tried Galvanic Discharge over Lightning Bolt, and I found the card way better than Lightning Bolt. In my opinion, we can play Galvanic Discharge alongside Scred, because Discharge is just better Lightning Bolt, but can be a sort of Scred in late game after casting the first discharges, and for not the full amount of energy counters. So if you are facing a deck like Mono you can play Discharge in the early game, kill the Delver, leaving just 1 or 2 energy counters, and then with your next Galvanic Discharge, you are maybe able to kill 1 Tolarian Terror. Yeah, you need to play more copies for one single card. More copies of Galvanic Discharge, and then you are kind of forced to have that specific sequencing. But to be honest, in a very fast metagame, I think Scred is not really good as Galvanic Discharge. This deck, haven't taught, plays mana base, which is mostly composed by snookered lands, you have as well 8 artifacts lands and also Perl's Landscape, which is a fetch land, can get you snow-covered land, but maybe you have tapped the Perl's Landscape, put your cast over a Bolas, or maybe you are late in really late in the game and you don't have enough no coral land in your deck, because by playing Peril's Landscape in this deck list, as you can see, we aren't playing another copy of the plains or the mountains, and of course we have kind of forced to cut one Snow Coral Island. We can eventually think of changing the amount of removal spells. We can cut at least one copy of Galvanic Discharge to play different removal spells. In this specific case, I think I'm very likely going to play one Destroy Evil. I don't really like one of cards, but I think we need another answer to big creatures, and Scred and Trap and Charm maybe aren't enough. Our Bolas is probably good, it's still good, and we play Brainstorm, but I think Our Bolas is a sort of way to allow this deck to play that many copies of Ephemerate. Ephemerate in this kind of deck, if we did not have Our Bolas, I think I don't really want to play more than 2 copies, but thanks to the presence of Our Bolas, I think 3 copies of Ephemerate is kind of easy. We then have 2 copies of Murmuring Mystic, 2 copies of Archimancer, and 4 copies of Mooddrifter. Even though the metagame is very fast, we have as well very grindy decks like Giant Wildfire or Grixis Affinity. So for that reason, having 4 copies of Mooddrifter and 4 copies of Lottery Revealed, I think is those I really want the whole set of both cards. Finally, we need to talk about Counterspell and Dispel. We don't play more than 2 copies of Archomancer because the metagame is fast, and we can't really have the Ephemerate lock so many times in this metagame, and most times against fast matchups you sideboard out the 3rd copy of Archomancer, or you just win before having Archomancer and Ephemerate, but still we play 4 copies of Counterspell, because Counterspell is the best 2 mana counter. So being able to counter without a card just make the card Counterspell the main Counterspell for this specific deck. This spell, finally, is the Counterspell that Jeskai Ephemerate plays in 2 copies nowadays, because we have a lot of instant speed spells which are relevant. There is Fanatical Offering, maybe Snuff Out, Lightning Bolt. So for that reason, Jeskai Ephemerate plays 2 copies of this spell. I'm not really sure about playing so many copies of this spell in this deck, because I am a huge fan of Counterspell, and when I play this kind of deck, I think having an answer, a 2-mana answer to creatures tended to be very strong, because being able to counter Crackling Shaman or Criprats or an Avenging Hunter without having to cast Counterspell, or maybe with just 1 blue mana, so Essence Captor, just to say, can be very strong. So I'm not really sure about the 2 copies of this spell, but for this video I'm going to stick with the stock counter spell split in the deck, because I haven't figured it out yet which setup may be the better for the metagame. Finally, I think Murmuring Mystic, the 2 off in the main deck, is mandatory. I believe maybe we want a 3rd copy of Murmuring Mystic in the sidebar, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe the 5th copy of Pyroblast is better. So we talked about Destroy Evil, so let's just add Destroy Evil in the main deck and start the league. Trouble Charm, I really like the card because with the presence of Spy in the metagame, being able to exile the graveyard is a very powerful play. We aren't really playing envelope in this deck list. We can do that. I'm not sure if it is good enough right now, but it's used to be so good as Waters counter to spy, to to try to return flashback and to lead the stampede and winning way, but also because you can counter land grant, or maybe if you are facing I-Tide, you can counter ideas unbound and pieces of the puzzle. Right now, probably we can just ignore decks like Spy, or at least not be so much wary about the presence of Spy in the metagame, because it's not really much played in on Magic Online leagues. We can also as well ignore I-Tide because we are already playing a lot of 1-mana Answers, Pyroblast, and Dispel, and against a deck like I-Tide, we win when you have Archimancer and Ephemerate in the play, and I-Tide is not so much played anymore. Even though the deck is still really powerful, Magic Online is not the right place to play High Tide because deck is it is very tiring to play High Tide when your opponent doesn't scoop to your combo. Even though they know you have the combo, you have infinite mana and you have the kill, but they just don't want to concede, trying to win by timing out you. Okay, first first match of this league, we are playing on the draw. Let's see what we are going to draw. Alright, as you can see, Scratch is not good as Galvanic Discharge in the starting end. We can keep the hand, it's not really great, but we have two interactive spells, we have Brainstorm, we have Lorien Revealing. So, assuming that having an answer to early chats and as well having a way to have a better and with the Burnstorm probably is good to keep this end. Alright, I'll play the blue land because if I draw an island I can just leave the mana open to play counterspell on the early threats. Maybe I'll grab the prize or something similar. Okay, that's Monored Madness for sure. Do they have nothing at all? I don't know if the matchup is unfavorable for us, but we have the island, so we we got a bit lucky by landing the Desert Bridge and by drawing Counterspell as a first spell. We're taking couple damage from those Boulder EPQs, not really troublesome if we are then able to have an Archomancer and the Ephemerate in late game. What they have now? Robert Price. Being able to counter Robert Price with Counterspell here is very good since they have a double Sneak Snacker in the graveyard. Alright, my turn. Let's see what we draw. Dispel. Okay. I suppose it is a bridge. That's the turn. We can play Dispel, but they don't play anything that let them draw two cards. It's an instant with an instant speed card. Yeah, just sorcery speed like Robert Price, and the other one with plot. They have as well. What is the name? Faithless Looting. Yeah, they're discarding a Gutter's Knife, so they don't have the third land, and they miss the land drop. Nice. So we are going to cast Brainstorm. Ephemerate is very much useless. I'm not going to tap out to cast Moodrifter in Ephemerate. So we are shuffling back on the deck, Ephemerate and Island. We can first cast Galvanic Discharge here. So we are using the red mana and then cycling with the Lorien with the Island. Then we are casting another Galvanic Discharge with the other bridge, the boss one mana. I mean, 1 damage. Cycle with the Lauren. Um, yeah, Island maybe is better than another capital land. We draw a card. Lauren, really. Right. So we're passing the turn. Next turn we can play our cast Muldrifter or Lauren, really. It depends on what I have in hand. They're not casting any lightning bolt on my end phase. Alright. So they're attacking with the Boulder and Epicure. I think I'm taking 1 damage because if they have a casting Flimberta or they have another draw spell, I'm going to cast Galvanic Discharge on Sneaky Snaker or on casting Flimberta. Now it's their choice. What are you going to play? Are you playing around Counterspell? Or are you going to slam your chest on the battlefield? Getting another Counterspell and grab the prize could hurt a lot. Wow. Okay. Alright. This is very painful. I don't like this spell over lose focus in this case scenario. I can't really do much. Wow. Okay. We're very likely going to lose this game. We can't really do much about 3 copies of Sneaky Snaker. Because even if you kill the Snakers, they can come back. Okay. We found again the Ephemerate. We are going to evoke the Mudrifter and Ephemerate it. So we have a Charm Blocker. And we have as well a Dispel to counter the Lightning Bolt if they want to kill my Muldrifter. We are going to block the Voldarian Epicure over those Sneaky Snackers. And then we are getting another couple cards with the rebound, with the Ephemerate rebounded. If you aren't able to draw as very fast as possible, an answer another. I mean, we need both Counterspell and Charm to get rid of their Sneaky Snackers, but we also need Archmaster. Well, we already have Ephemerate, so we don't really need another Ephemerate. 2 mana. Do you have another grab prize? Casting Flimberta. Right. Do I wanna cycle my lawyer? I think not. We are going to attack. Maybe we should respect the Fire Blast if they have one. Alright, Counterspell is good. I suppose I'm going to play Island and maybe doing it the white and tapped source. We have 4 mana, 4 blue mana. I think we can tap 2 mana, 2 blue mana, so we still have Counterspell on this spell. Not sure about casting my Ur of Ball. I mean, another Muldrifter to block another Snacker. I think I prefer to have the mana untapped and to dig 1 extra card trying to find an answer to their Cassic Flimberta. Not finding another Rumble spell here hurt a lot. Okay. Do we have any out this situation? I'm not sure if I wanna leave the mana untapped to cast this spell, so I'm going to cast Cleansing Wildfire. Have an extra. I have extra mana next turn, and I draw another card. Destroy Evil, quite useless. If you remember, we we cut the 4th copy of Galvanized Discharge to add another Destroy Evil. So we are already getting punished by that choice. Even though I think even if I were able to eventually draw Destroy Evil here. I mean, to draw the Galvanist Surge, I think I still prefer to not tap out to cast the removal spell. We're blocking the Snacker, and hope the opponent does have built another grab the prize. And okay, the win won this spell, I guess. I prefer to not die immediately, so are you going to play around another dispel? They're not going. Alright. Yeah, down to one life. Oh, why are you sacrificing Lava Dot? The wrong thing to cast Lava Dot. Quite surprised. Alright, we lost to a Monored Madness who wasn't able to find a third land drop. That's I'm not I don't know. It's pretty much boring. Well, we're bringing in 5 copies of Hydroblast and 4 copies of Fierce Faithful. I thought Faithful is not as good here as against Red Rally. Still being able to get back some life could be helpful. I think we are cutting 1 copy of Ephemerate, Destroy Evil. I don't like Throbbing Charm. Throbbing Charm is an overcosted removal spell that requires having Aura of Bolas in play, and as well, it forces you to have creatures. To just kill 1 casting creature, it requires 2 creatures. I think Counterspell is very strong against this deck. You can cut Couple removal spell, Spread, not really strong. You can. This spell is not so much good as the other counterspell we have because yeah, they have instant speed spell, but we prefer to counter the sorcery speed spell. I think we can cut as well a couple of Bolas. We're bringing in some creatures with Faithfuls, but they have not so many creatures, or not so many relevant creatures beside Volder and Epico that we can block with Ogre. I think World Mystic is enough to interact with their Snackers. Treven Charm more or less requires to have 2 untapped mana and let them resolve a draw spell. So I think Pearl Mystic is better. You know, we can just ignore the Snacker if I have a good Fierce Faithful in play. Maybe we need to cut another couple over Bolas. I don't really like the idea of cutting Mulldrifter. Maybe 1 Dispel and 1 Mulldrifter. They're clearly bringing in some weird stuff. Maybe casting into the fire besides Pyroblast. Yeah, suppose cutting 1 Mulldrifter and 1 Dispel is fine. Alright, let's going to get burned out again. Wow. No artifact lands means that I can't really get mana ramp from the Volatile Fjord and the Cleansing Wi-Fi, so no answer, no Hydroblast, we're mulliganing it. And we have an hand with just 1 blue mana. Okay. What are we going to do here? I think we are very likely going to not. I think we don't really want to have this Ephemerate, even though we have the Mulldrifter. I think it is safer to keep the Archemaster. It is more likely for us to play an Archemaster on turn 5 or turn 4 and get some another blast back, maybe. Glacial Floodplain, alright. Island, pass. They have 2 mana. They're probably going to play around my Hydroblast. They're taking wind damage. They're I can still draw a galvanic discharge. No, well, we are going to evoke Dimir Drifter next turn. Counter the Kessie, or kill it. Draw another tapped land. Evoke Dimir Drifter. Maybe we find couple good cards, or maybe find a couple cleansing wildfires. It is time to get cast into the fire. Grab the prize, discarding Fury Temper. That's fine to me. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of damage, but to be honest, grab the prize with my hand is better than Getter's Knife. And we have another Hydroblast. So time to shine for my cleansing wildfire. We get another island. So next turn we have Archimancer and maybe Hydroblast, or we can cast Couple Cleansing Wildfire. That could be good as well. Yeah, I think we're going for double Cleansing Wildfire unless we draw something better. 2, 4, 5. If we draw good first faithful, what are you casting here? Agri Robbery. Alright, time to cast Hydroblast, I suppose. So the matchup solves pretty much on countering their Agri Robbery and Gutter's Knife and Jeskai Ephemerate. They don't have Power Blast, so I'm going to play my Archimancer, and I'm bringing back the Hydroblast. Maybe we're going to lose the Archimancer to a Lightning Bolt, but that is fine. To be honest, we are still in the early game, losing the Archimancer. Wait, did you bring in Fer Macabre? If they have Fer Macabre on Hydroblast, could be annoying, but more or less useful to me because bringing in Fer Macabre in this matchup, I think is not quite good. You're attacking, and I'm blocking. No reason to play around the Loud Art. If they're going to kill my Archimancer with Loud Art, I'm fine with it. Oh no, I lost my Archimancer. They're discarding something with the Blood Token. Fair Temper. Alright, we are going down to 8 life. I'm not going to waste my Hydroblast on this Pure Temper size. I don't have any other answer in my hand. Alright, the pass the turn. We draw 2 Growth Bolas. Let's go Mana Ramp. Island. I think I should play the Perilous Landscape. If I draw a counter spell, I want to be able to cast it. But I think I need to tap red mana to cast Cleansing Wildfire. You can't yet cast the Wildfire with red mana. And here we go, counter spell. Right. We have a decent end now, and we have a World Bolas next turn. I'm quite hyped. Now every Muldrifter or Lurian Revealed is going to be very strong since we have a lot of mana. My opponent just 3 untapped lands, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana next turn. So they tap 2 mana, play a land. Hi, we're over it. Alright, they know I have an Hydroblast, so it is probably better for the better to cast Hydroblast over Counterspell. I'm not sure if they have a Power Blast. Maybe they haven't bring it in the card. Yeah, I'm taking those 3 mana, 3 damage. I have a good First Faithful in my deck, so you can blast me. You can burn me. At certain point, I'm going to get so many life back that probably your burn spell doesn't really matter much now. Right, Ogre Bolas and put on the bottom a lot of cards. Just one Ogre Bolas. Okay, that's fine. Play the land, pass the turn. This spell is not good now. It's very bad, and that's the reason why we boarded out the second copy of this spell. But if they have Fire Blast in hand, because they don't have Fire Blast, they haven't cast any Fire Blast yet, so it's very likely for them to have something like you know, Gutter's not Gutter's Knife, I mean Fire Blast, and just waiting for me to tap out. Right, Ephemerate. We're going to Ephemerate on the Ogre of Wallace. I'll remind you, I still have 4 copies of Lawyer Village and 4 copies of Brainstorm to to try to draw the card I need. So do you have a Lightning Bolt or my Ogre of Bolas? Are you willing to cast something louder on me? Okay, that's fine. I'm going down to 4. Lower Village. Alright. Okay, how much mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 mana. So I guess we can go for the lower village. Yeah, we have enough mana to cast all the other cards I have in it. Do you have the Power Blast? I think you don't have it. They have it. Alright. We're fighting over it. Fire Blast on me. And if they have if they really have another oops shot. Maybe I don't really need the red mana. I don't know. Ooh. Okay. We're still playing. 2 mana. Oh wait. Nope. They don't have another Fire Blast. Nice. No. I got Sphere Speedfuls. I think I'm shuffling with the Pearls landscape. I want to draw those Faithfuls. Blue Elemental Blast, that's cool. We draw 3 cards. Brainstorm. We can go for Brainstorm. And finally the good first Faithful. I don't really need double Galvanic Discharge. I still haven't played a land. I have so much card advantage. I think I'm going to fetch with a Lorien. We play the land. I think there's no reason to tap out yet. We can wait the next turn. We draw a card. They draw land. And they pass the turn. That's fine. Time for good Fierce Faithful. Followed up by Mooldrifter. I think they can concede. Yeah. I have so many cards in hand and so many answers and good Fierce Faithful. So easy, as I say. Alright. So I think the sideboard, the side in and the side out good. So we are going to the game 3 with these 60 cards. Now we need to have as many Hydroblast in the starting end. And we had just one Hydroblast and a very clunky starting end because we have the Galvanic Discharge, but we don't have the second blue. We don't have the third land. We have Mystic, which is a late game card. We have Mooldrifter, 3 mana Divination, and we have Ephemerate, another late game card. So Even though it is a 7 cards and more or less we have just 5 cards in the starting end. So I'm going to take a mulligan. And yeah, we have so many lands now that more or less, yeah, I'm going to keep it. So what I don't wanna keep, I want the Muldrifter. Maybe I don't want the Lorne Village. Right. Again, the Epicure, Archimonster, not having an island, an untapped island here, it hurts me so much. Alright, so what are going to do here, my opponent? We manage a lightning. They don't have the second land. That's awesome. Okay, now we are going to play an easy game. We have the land drops, we have the card advantage, we have an answer. If they have a grab the prize, oh, they found the land. Right. Time to play your grab the prize, I guess. Another lightning bolt. We pass the turn, that's fine. And we have the good first feasible. Right. This means next turn we are going to evoke the Muldrifter unless the opponent forces us to play the Hydroblast. If you are forced to play Hydroblast, we can then play Archimancer to bring back Hydroblast. And we have another blocker, yeah, but you know, we have back the answer to their threat eventually. Alright, it passed the turn. We draw maybe another idol. Lurin. Alright. We are going for evoke. We are evoking the Muldrifter. I don't know if I wanna protect my Muldrifter if they have a Pyroblast, because my card advantage in this matchup matters less than their card advantage, because they are the deck that tries to kill me. I'm not trying to kill them, I'm just trying to survive. Okay, we have a brainstorm, that's fine. So we're passing the turn, and we can eventually land the overballast next turn. So yeah, you can burn me, do whatever you want. Like, I mean, lightning bolt is probably bad in the matchup. Chill lightning is even worse. I'm going to block. Um, we have another blue mana with the Laurel World, but more importantly, they already played 3 copies of Lightning Bolt. So, oh, okay, they have another one. All right, that's quite surprising, I guess. I mean, I'm still going to cast Hydroblast here to protect my Fitful, because I'm getting back 1 life, and I don't think they have a way to kill me. Alright, I have a Power Blast and Hydroblast, that's fine. So we are going for Brainstorm, and then we go for Wallace, very likely. Counterspell. Okay. I think I'm going to keep an open to cast Counterspell here. So I'm playing Island. I don't really need another Kupo Tapped Lens. Yeah, you have enough mana for the next turn. Losing the Faithful is annoying, but you have another 3 copies of Good First Food, of Good First Faithful, and you know, they don't have so many cards left in hand. It's kind of difficult for them to kill me at this point unless they draw another Kupol Power Blast and Lightning Bolts. So I think we are kind of safe. I don't know. We go for the counterspell here. Alright. I fetch the landscape. Island. 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. So play the perused landscape. Bring back Hydroblast, maybe? Yeah. Hydroblast is kind of always better than Counterspell. They had 2 cards in hand. Wait! They bring it in for Macabre! Okay. Okay. That's fine. I mean, for Macabre, just to not let me bring back 1 card. That's cool. Alright, another island. And we have another lower village. Right. Are you going to load out my Arcumancer again? Now they have 2 cards in it. Because they discarded Hydroblast instead of giving Power Blast on Arcumancer. If they have, you know, Firmacab is a kind of overkill. They discarded Fire Blast with Grab the Prize. Okay. I think it is time for you to draw some lands. And yeah, they have a land. Okay, now they have 2 cards in hand. We are going to draw some cards. I hope. Yeah, there's Fire Blast. Right. Okay, okay. What are we going to do here? I think we are going to cast the Reveal It. Counter Blue Metal Blast. It's going well. We're going to win it. We're going to win this game. Even if they discard the Sneaky Snacker and then they bring it back with Fatalist Looting, that would be fine because they have we have the Galvanic Discharge. I think for their Epic here is fine. We have another Aggressive Ball, another creature to block. And they exile Igwe Robbery with the Plat ability. I'm not going to cycle my lower village. I don't really care about the land drops. I think we are going to play a Wolf Wallace. Counter spell is fine. Then we have 5 mana. Alright. I think I'm going to pass the turn. After all, they have a robbery in exile. We can counter the robbery with the counter spell because they know I have a counter spell in hand thanks to the Ogre of Bolas. And then I have another counter counterspell, and I can counter both cards they have in hand because they have 2 cards now. Because they had just 1 card, they indeed draw another card. Now we are going to fight over that Igor Robber. At least it's very likely for us to fight over it because next turn I think I want to cast my Lord Revealed. And if I cast Lord Revealed, I want to draw an Ephemerate good enough or a Guild First Faithful. Yeah, probably good. What cards are good to me? So counter spell. No Power Blast. Fatalist Looting. And that's fine. More or less, they're not making any card advantage with the Fatalist Looting. And if the next turn they flashback the looting, is fine to me. They're discarding another Fire Blast and the Firma Cob. They have just 1 card in it, and that's cool. That's very good. You know, the main issue about this deck, the main issue about... I'm kind of forced to tap the fetch one. The main issue about Jeskai Ephemerate is the deck being slow. Do they have the Fire Blast? Yeah. You know, I have enough copies of Hydroblast. Okay. Okay, keep in mind, we already have the fetch line in play, so we can... we are not forced to play the second fetch line. We can just fetch the upkeep with this other fetch land. So I'm going to play the Brainstorm and, you know, check for what we're going to draw, play our end. And since we have an Ephemerate on the top deck, I'm going to cast Ephemerate here and then bring him back. Yeah, Blue Metal Blast. Alright. The game is over. One card in hand. They pass the turn. Wise. Haven't thought, I have, thanks to Ephemerate, so many counter spells now that you can't really do anything to stop me. And I think I'm going to ephemerate my Archomancer to bring back lower ability, unless they have an aswell to my ephemerate. But okay, I'm playing Blue Metal Blast, and then I'm playing again Ephemerate to bring back the Blue Metal Blast. Muldrifter. So I'm not in need to bring back the lower ability. We can evoke it and ephemerate. When your opponent with Jeskai Ephemerate is drawing so many cards that doesn't really care about what the cards you have in hand, I think Jeskai is probably going to win. Right. So we play the fetch land, pass the turn, discard Galvanic Discharge. We can have an attack with the Growth Wallace. They're not going to block it, and we have enough blockers for the Epicures. Do they have a lot of art in the graveyard? None of that. Just the Fatalist looting. So if they're not going to concede, we can speed up the game thanks to Murmuring Mystic, but they conceded. So nice 2-1, losing the first game and winning both post-sideboard games thanks to our 5 copies of Hydro Blast and thanks to Good vs Faithful. I suppose the matchup is fine post-sideboard, especially when your opponent is not lucky as you. As me. I mean, I have 3 copies of Idolist in my hand. Alright, for the second match, we are starting first. A slow and but slow hand. But now we are starting second. Well, still a decent end. Haven't thought we are late, but at least one turn because we don't have an untapped land, so we can't go Cleansing Wildfire on turn 2. Well, anyway. Alright. Spell Pierce check. They have it. Alright. We'll try next time. Don't worry. They're tapping out the Cycle Suffocating Fumes, the Mr. Land Drop, and now you have the Cleansing Wildfire. You can spell pierce my Wildfire if you don't have untapped mana. So we play another bridge, we pass the turn. Now we are waiting for the opponent to do something. They miss another land drop. And we have a brainstorm. I assume my opponent is not playing Dimir first because they have a spell pierce. So I'm going to cast my brainstorm. It's probably Dimir Terror. Okay. I don't like Ephemerate, then I think Galvanic Discharge. Since we weren't able to fight on land, I'm Cyclone Rolling Village. For an untapped island. I play the island and pass the turn. I can dispel if they have Brainstorm, Tutskawa, or whatever. Probably I'm going to play Brainstorm in the end phase because I want an untapped, another untapped blue mana, so I want to fetch my Peril's Landscape. Alright, they pass the turn. And I'll go Brainstorm again. I don't need the galvanic chairs. I want the untapped land because I want to play Muldrifter, leaving one blue mana open to cast this spell. I think we can shuffle back the Silver Bridge. Alright. It's easy. Okay, untap. Ephemerate. How much mana do we have? 3, 5, 6 mana. We can eventually cast Muldrifter, Evoked, plus Ephemerate, and still we have 2 mana. I think it is better to keep the Ephemerate eventually. Maybe we just need to try to stick the Ephemerate in play. I mean, if they prefer to cast something else, okay, counterspell. I'm going to cast counterspell on their counterspell. No reason to have another blue and tap it mana. I mean, I have just one copy of this spell. If they are countering the Muldrifter, maybe they don't have a Snap out. Ephemerate? If they have a Snap out, I'm just losing the Ephemerate. Okay, now they can play a Tolerant Tail, but we have the answers. Yeah. Okay. Mystic 4 mana. Scred, another 3 mana. So, I can fetch my Peril's Landscape to play Scred. I think I'm going to play Destroy Evil here. Alright. I'm killing the monster and pass the turn. Brainstorm. I'm not sure if I should if I should counter the Brainstorm. It's probably more correct to let the Brainstormer solve, then we can Scred and cover the Scred with the Dispel. So they found another land and a creature. Gilmore Angler, that's cool. So we don't need to pay the ward or Scred. So we can go Mystic. Well, first I need to fetch my Peril's Landscape. Maybe it is better to go for Mountain. So if I draw a Lorien ability, I can eventually cycle it for an untapped island. I can play my Mystic and cast Scred. Probably there's no reason to play around Spell Pierce match here. I'm going to Scred the Angler. Well, they can protect the Gurmag Angler with unexpected things if they have it. Snap out. So this belongs snap out. 2 cards in hand. What do you have in hand? Disrupt. They're disrupting the spread? Not the dispel. Why? They have another removal spell? In my opinion, yeah, maybe they have another removal spell. They think it is better to have the angler in play. Alright, just 1 card in hand. I'm going to block with 1 token. You know, they have Suificating Fumes, so maybe it's, oh hey, the last card was unexpected, thanks. But still we need 1. I think it is for the better to cycle this Pearl's landscape over than just cycling it. I can block and cast Scred next turn. Unless they have another removal spell. Well, I mean, unless they have another counter spell. I'm blocking with the bird. They have another unexpected things. Spread. I think they don't have another counter spell because they draw cast down after brainstorming. And you have Laura Village on the top deck, which is pretty nice. So we draw 3 cards. We find Nagar of Bolas, Chop and Chop. Better than other 2 lands for sure. We pass the turn. We have another Laura Village. So I think we are in a very good spot right now. Totsukawa milling cast down a mental note. They find another brainstorm. This is the Final Fantasy art brainstorm. Clarentel. They pass turn. Planes. Alright. Counterspell check. No counterspell. Too bad for you. We can brainstorm here, but I think we can wait for at least 1 turn. We can take 5 damage. And next turn we have more mana and we can draw. We have more resources. Wow, they play 2 copies of Disrupt in their Dimir Tarot deck. That's a lot. Creature, what are you playing here? Deep Analysis, alright, I'm countering it. And then I'm casting Trub and Chub to exile their Deep Analysis. So more or less my Trub and Chub is a counter spell for the Deep Analysis flashback. It is pretty sweet. You know, Trub and Charm against Terra usually is not really so great. I mean, we don't really have so many creatures to kill their Terras, and exiling the graveyard doesn't do much if we don't cast it early in the game. I think they have any other, you know, other copies of Mental Note and Toskawa in end doesn't do much anyway. Right, we go for our brainstorm, our bolas, put on top 1 useless card and dispel. So now they know we have the dispel, and we go for the Muldrifter. Now they can't even attack. We can block with 3 creatures and kill the Tyrant, which is good. Alright. So if they attack, they need to have 2 answers, a spell, and another card. Snap out. Why are casting Snap out at this point of the game? Well, I think they are kind of forcing this spell. Or okay, they play the Snap out because they knew why. Okay, I can't really block here because I have just 4 in power instead of 5, but I have more copies of Mudrifter. So now I can indeed block the Torrential. We can as well go for cleansing Wi-Fi. I think I have at least one other basic land. Yeah. Archimancer. We can wait one turn to cast the Archimancer. We are going to block with 2 Drifters and I go Wallace. And kill the Torrential. If they want to attack, at least. They're going to kill my 2 Drifters. Unless they have Unexpected Fangs or a removal spell on the top deck. But they don't have it. So dispelling that as Snuff out earlier was kind of good. And we have Ephemerates. Right, attack first. Then I'm casting my Mood Drifter. So, I can check if they have a counter spell. If they don't have it, we can casting Archmaster to bring back Cleansing Wildfire. Doesn't really do much here. So, casting first, Reveal it. I have only 10 cards in my deck. Probably I shouldn't cast any more copies of Lottery Reveal. Deep analysis from the top deck. Well, I have 2 copies of Counterspell in my hand, so I can counter at least 1 copy. Alright, play Flashback it. That's fine to me. They pass the turn. Attack, 4 file, bring them down to 12. Well, I think you are pretty much dead, my opponent. I bring back the counterspell. I'll play the Ogre of Ballast, so I have another creature to kill faster my opponent. I think I'm keeping the Galvanic Discharge in my deck. So, Discharge doesn't really do much against Torrential. And I have only 9 cards in my deck. So even if I cast Ephemerate on my Archomancer to bring back something, I still have 6 in power on the battlefield to kill my opponent. Disrupt. I think that is the first time I'm facing Dimir Terror with 3 copies of Disrupt. Totskawa target me. They're trying to mill me. To be honest, it is fine. I have another copy of Ephemerate now in my graveyard. They haven't had Bojuka Bog in their deck. You can't really cast Snap Out with Bojuka Bog. Alright. Ephemerate, the Archimonster. Bring back the Ephemerate. Ephemerate the Archimonster again. Bring back Counterspell. And the game is over. Just be sure to not die from the clock, and we have a two turns clock to kill the opponent. Now we are going to bring in 5 copies of Pyroblast, and we are cutting the Galvanic Discharge. I think Trab and Chab is not great. This spell is good. Maybe 1 copy of Ephemerate. It is kind of surprising. We are always cutting Ephemerate. I think it's not so much surprising because we are facing aggressive decks with a lot of interaction. It's kind of different compared to facing. Oh, what a weird starting game. I think I'm going to keep it because we have a Red Elemental Blast, we have a Brainstorm. So the starting end is good, even though we don't have the Cleansing Wiper. But then, we top decked an artifact land, so Cleansing Wildfire here is even better. It's just a matter of if the opponent is going to tap out. Probably it's not. They're not going to tap out. Bridge. Alright. I'm going to play the Perilous Landscape, pass the turn, casting Brainstorm in their end phase, and then fetching with Perilous Landscape. They likely have something like Spell Pierce or Disrupt, and they want to play around me having, weird stuff. Oh, that is a Gurmagangler on turn 3. That's a good good start for them. I suppose my Elemental Blasts don't do much against Gurmagangler. But so many artifact lands. I think you are going to fetch with a lower reveal it. So, ooh, I can't even. I can't play Red Elemental Blast with. I can't play both Red Elemental Blast and Cleansing Wi-Fi now. Okay, okay. Well, that's kind of fine, I suppose. Wait for the opponent eventually to do something. Oh, okay, okay. I think I need to play rather the cleansing Wi-Fi the next turn. So I'm going to fetch for another colored basic land, either an island or a mountain. Doesn't really matter much. Probably is better the island since I have double counterspell in my hand. Um, I want to play cleansing Wi-Fi and have enough answers for the counter on Wi-Fi because I think it is kind of it's probably irrelevant to resolve this cleansing Wi-Fi since I have a Murmur Mystic as a way to not die from the Gurmagangler. We also have the Ogre Falls. Ogre Falls is good as well. But probably it's better to have some mana ramp first instead of going for the Ogre Falls. Disrupt. Yes. Do you have the spell pierce? If they're going to cast 3 copies of Disrupt, I'm going to be so pissed off. Yeah, preventing the Disrupt. Why? Why you didn't cast first the Spell Pierce after the first Disrupt? Okay. So I suppose they just wanted to speed up Talarantera. What are you going to do here, opponent? A heal spellbomb? Okay, that's fine to me. I don't have so much interaction with the graveyard beside the Archimaster. If that creature is a Talarantera, I'm going to. Okay! 2 copies of Gurmagangler, that's fine, I guess. Finally. We're fetching the white mana for the Destroy Evil. Archimancer, because the opponent just played an heal spellbomb. Well, I suppose I prefer to gamble here. An opponent not having another Removal spell since they have 2 copies of Snap out in their graveyard. They bring in a heal spellbomb, they kept Spell Pierce, Disrupt. They're likely bringing in Hydroblast. So I suppose they don't have a cast down anymore to, kill me, to kill my creatures. They draw another land. I'm forced to block. I think I need another untapped land on the top deck. Top of the land. All right. I suppose my only out here is playing Mystic, playing Brainstorm. All right, click on see the game. Okay, Red Elemental Blast is very strong against Manipulator, but not as strong as Scred against Dimir. But I suppose, unless we play more copies of Destroyer, there's not much we can do here. At least we are starting first now. Oh, okay. This end is kind of bad. We have Scred with just one snow cover the land. Okay. I don't know. I think we are forced to Mulligan. We don't have any early game interaction like Power Blast. We don't have Dispel. We don't have Cleansing Wildfire or Gore of Bolas. We have indeed Cleansing Wildfire now, so I'm going to keep it. I don't like the Burrows Bridge. And now we go for Bridge, pass the turn, and wait for the opponent to have something. Blue, pass the turn, my turn. I think I'm forced to play around a 1 mana interaction because they have 3 copies of Disrupt and 1 Spell Pierce. It's quite annoying. Even though I think it is kind of fine. Well, I just pass the turn. I have a Brainstorm and a Lower Village. Maybe I can find any answer. Yeah, sure. Go for the Totsukawa. Counterspell? I think I like all these cards. Maybe not much the second copy of Lower Village. I think I can draw the island. Maybe not the lower rated, because at this point of the game, the lower rated is just an overcosted basic land. So we draw the island. We don't draw the lower village, and we wait for the opponent to do something. So let's see if the opponent have any kind of interaction, if they have tapped mana or not. They cycle the Lauren. Okay, they tap out. That's cool. All right. We go for the Cleansing Wildfire. Um, yeah, another island. Pyroblast on the top deck. Yeah, I should fetch for the basic planes. Top of the land. They pass the turn. Well, Drifter. Um, I think we can play the land, pass the turn. We have an answer to Mega Angler now. Yeah, cycle. Feel free to cycle your reveal. Why? They fetched another tap land. They don't have. Okay, maybe they don't really want to do something. Their casting is okay. That's cool to me. I'm always open to counter Lion Terror. I'm not sure if I prefer to evoke the Mojifter or not. Okay. Alright. Still I prefer to cast my Lord Ability. We have the land. Quite a risky play to go for the land by casting the Lord Ability over. Okay, they have a deep analysis now. Alright. No creature. Because if I miss the land drop, that would be really sad. So, Mood Drifter? You can't really counter my Mood Drifter with just one blue mana. Brainstorm. Alright, feel free to counter my Brainstorm with Disrupt. They always have it. Quite surprising. Do you guys snuff out as well my Mujifta? Nope. That's fine to me. Okay. This is Spellbomb doesn't do much here. Alright. They kill the Mudrifter. They can't cast down in past sideboard game. Always is that I'm always draw Archeomancer in the very next turn after they draw Nihil Spellbomb. That don't make any sense at all. I can't really play yet the Memory Mystic. I don't have so much mana. We cycle a Learner Village. We are losing this copy of Learner Village because they have an easy spell bomb in play. But I think it is fine losing the spell bomb here. And I mean losing the Learner Village to just have another land drop. And I think since I have so much counter spells, it is better to pass the turn. I'm not going to counter the deep analysis. I prefer to counter Gurmag Angler and Tolerant Tail, which are a relevant card against me. Counterspell your Gurmag Angler. So they don't have another copy of Tolerant Tail if they're casting Angler. Yes, I'm going to pay 1 mana. Okay, it's resolved. Alright. Time to draw some cards. Let's go, Mudrifter. Draw something. Do something. Alright. Tap the land. Go. I'm not going to let my opponent counter another spell with their Disrupt. Do you have another cast down? That's fine. Go for it. Kill all my creatures with your cast down. Cast down it's fine to me because you are killing one creature that got me an off card advantage for me. I'm not going to counter deep analysis for the same reason as I not countered your deep analysis area. But if you have a Gurmag Angler, I'm probably forced to counter it with Counterspell. Alright, that's the turn. We draw a bridge. Cleansing Wi-Fi. It is kind of weird. They did not play any Blast yet. Maybe they didn't bring it in any Blast against me. Weird from my point of view because I play 4 copies of Cleansing Wi-Fi and 4 copies of Fire Blast. Why are you countering my Cleansing Wi-Fi with Counterspell? I'm kind of scratching my head because how many interactions do you have in your graveyard? How many spells do you have in your graveyard? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the reason because you want another spell in your graveyard. This cleansing wiper isn't really so much relevant, so I can let my opponent counter it. Dispel or Ephemerate. I think the Dispel. It is probably better to protect my Lunar Village instead of protecting my Ephemerate. And now I'm going to pass. I can force a counter war over another copy of Gurmag Angler. What are you doing now? Flashback deep analysis? Sure, go for it. We have a creature, Mental Note, Gurmag Angler, and Island. They play another Island, and they play a target for my Power Blast. Finally. If they have a counter spell, I can play my Dispel. They don't have a Dispel in my hand. No counter spell on the Tolerant Tail. Okay. Another Nihil Spellbow, that's fine. We attack with Ogre of Lolas. And then we cast Learn Reveal. Likely my opponent want to counter my card advantage to prevent me to come back in the game. Maybe they think I don't have much interaction since I... Oh. Alright, I'm tapping one blue mana to... or rather one white mana to pay the tax from Disrupt. Counterspell. Totskawa, target the mill to learn target Megangler. Okay. Alright. Now he has 2 line drops and 1 blue drifter. I wonder how many creatures they have left in their deck. I can counter that clientele. Brainstorm. Alright. They have 1 Tolarian Terror in exile. 3 copies of Gurmag Angler in the graveyard, another 2 copies of Tolarian Terror. So this one is the last copy of Tolarian Terror they have in their deck, and likely have another copy of Gurmag Angler, unless for any reason they play just 3 copies instead of 4 copies of Gurmag Angler. So they're trying to fight over this Tolarian Terror because they are forced to resolve it to win the game. This is the 4th copy of Disrupt. I'm quite astonished. Alright. I draw 2 cards. Cleansing Wildfire. And we go for the Cleansing Wildfire. Are you going to counter my Cleansing Wildfire again? No? Why? Destroyable. I can kill Talentel with Destroyable. I'm probably going to do that next time. Yay, Brainstorm! Alright, my opponent. Your turn. As you can see, Archmancer is not doing anything in this game. You are more or less is at control with Muldrifter over the Monarch, and there is Archmancer plus Ephemerate sometimes. Probably cast more copies Destroy Evil and Trap and Charm in this kind of games. Yeah, I suppose you can cast your Learn Reveal it. That's fine. I think I should not counter any weird stuff beside Totskala targeting me because I have only 22 cards in my deck. Countering their Totskala is probably good because they don't have probably any much interaction there, and since we are so late in the game, and they probably don't have any win condition beside this singleton copy of Tolarian Tale. So, well, we can play the Brainstorm, put a couple cards on top with Ogre of Lolas. Okay. Well, maybe Cleansing Wildfire and Destroyable. So I cast Ogre of Lolas, keep the Destroyable, play on top of the land, attack for damage. Then I can play Destroy evil. Mm, maybe I should do that right now. I don't know what they have in hand, but this kind of clear, they don't have any relevant card. Alright. Another level. I think I'm going to counter it. I mean, have another counter spell and 2 Power Blast. Snap out. Oh no. But still, they haven't cracked yet. Not the heal spell. All right. 3 damage to you. Are you going to cast Snap out on my Roof Blast? They're thinking about casting Snap out to kill my Roof Blast. I, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. Take 3 damage. And then we go for, I think, the last copy of Lauren that I have in my deck. Murmuring Mystic. Alright, keep in mind, Ephemerate is not only a proactive card, it can be used as an answer to Snuff Out. If I want to kill my Murmuring Mystic with Snuff Out, I can blank it with Ephemerate. Brainstorm will counter it, because by countering it, and then eventually counter this other copy of Snuff Out they have in hand, we can go for lethal. And we go for lethal by casting Ephemerate to protect my Murmuring Mystic. I suppose I have another Snuff Out. Yeah. Not today. I'm countering even that mental note. So even if you can't destroy my Mystic, I have still little damage. I have no more any cards in my hand, but I have enough damage on the battlefield. Now you can counter all my spells with this Raptor. I think this is the first time to me to face 4 copies of this Raptor alongside Spell Pierce in Dimir. That's a lot of 1 mana counter spells. And now I understand why they haven't bring it in Hydroblast. But I think Hydroblast is better than Disrupt against the Jeskai Ephemerate. Well, 2-0 against Dimir. No, 2-1. Nice. Right. Even thought we don't have Cleansing Wildfire by turn 2. We have Over of Ballast as a turn to play, which is cool. We can eventually cast Brainstorm. I think I'm going to keep it. The hand is very doesn't really do anything so good, but it is kind of good as a way to find stuff my opponent can have. So we're going to Rust Veil Rage as a first play. Opponent is probably on. Oh, okay. What is it? So maybe Mono White Heroic. Probably Mono White Heroic is a very dark matchup for me. All right. I'll go for Rogue of Bolas. So next turn we can go Brainstorm Ephemerate. the galvanic discharge here is not doing anything relevant at all. This is the kind of matchup against which against Travel Charm and Destroy Evil are very good. 5/5 flying creature, kind of difficult for me to interact with that kind of creature. All right. I'm putting Couple Ramola spell on the top. Now they're not doing anything relevant. Next turn, probably I should play Murmuring Mystic next turn. I'm taking 5 damage or even more. Yeah, I should play the Murmuring Mystic. Um, I'm not able to win, and I'm not able to survive anymore. 2 copies of the Eternal Armor is just a match. Okay, your game, opponent. Very fast game. All right, we are bringing in Chub and Chub. I'm not sure if I want to bring in God's Furious Faithful. Oh, all my relevant spell don't do anything relevant against Mono White Heroic. I think my only relevant spell is Murmuring Mystic. So probably my whole gameplay is landing a Murmuring Mystic by turn 3 or turn 4. I'm not even sure if I need to keep my remote spells. Maybe just Scred. Given its discharge just too weak. I mean, I play only one untapped red source. I should bring maybe 2 copies of Good First Faithful to rack back some life, which is kind of decent, maybe. Yeah, we can go for that. Faithful is not good, so it's not so much good against our decks, but at least we can try to not die from them being so fast. I mean, if the game goes longer, I can get back some life to just survive. I mean, all right, my removal spell are already unplayable because they played a turn 1 Galagona's Trailblazer. Oh, what is called this creature? Lagona Trail? Lagona Band Trailblazer. Okay. Hmm. Oh, that's it. That is going to be really hurtful. Mystic. Okay, I was planning to play Brainstorm into Igor Bolas, but I guess Mystic is kind of better. Please don't kill my Murmuring Mystic in any very weird way. They can be little on turn 3 eventually. I hope they're not forcing me to block with my Mystic. We go down to 4 life. Well, they have just 1 card in it. Oh, counter spell. Bonkers. Alright. I think I don't want to keep my Scred and 1 copy of Muldrifter. We cycle for a tapped land, the Azorius one, and we pass the turn. We block the Trailblazer with the bird token, the word token with the Mystic. Okay, that's fine. That's just a 1/5, and they have 1 card in hand. I'm gonna block both creatures. So nothing happened. Okay. I'm not going to kill your creatures. I mean, I can't really deal 32 damage to like a natural brazier. I mean, we need to kill the creature 2 times due to the presence of an Abra. Alright, so it has your continent. Probably I should evoke the Drifter. Maybe there's no need to evoke the Drifter because, you know, at this point of the game, I think I just need Ephemerate because I already have the Archmonster. Wow. Classic. Right? Your third. I'm going to lose my Ogre of Wallace. Kind of painful. You're not attacking with anything else. I think I'm not going to counter the Laguna with the counter spell, and there is a Wildfire on the top, which is good. So we have a token to charm black, island, and we have another counter spell. I think I need more proactive spells. If they have any creature, I'm going to counter it because I can't really do. I mean, I have 2 copies of Counter Spell and I need charm blockers. As you can see, the war game is relying on Mystic to block infinitively their enormous creature. They play this good step because they wanna activate the armadillo. Right. I'd cast Drifter, so I have another blocker. Land. Go. Oh wait. Ah no. Oh no. I'm going to lose my Mystic now because they attack with both creatures. Oh, that's so terrible. We are going to lose to non-armadillo, armored armadillo for sure. Wow. Ephemerate. Ah, too late. Too late. Oh, well, I guess evoke Drifter. Ephemerate Drifter. I need an Ogre of Bolas or something. I guess another Drifter. I'm going to lose the Ephemerate. But then I'm not going to lose the game. I hope I'm forced to discard 1 copy of 2 copies of Counterspell because my opponent didn't play anything relevant. And they kept throwing my counterspells. Alright. Okay. They have another aura. Lifelink against Jeskai Ephemerate. Why? If they attack with everything, I'm pretty much dead. This is so terrible. I can't even kill their armadillo because they have. Oh Jesus! This game went so bad. I wasn't expecting that. Quite hilarious. All right. Mighty fit. All right. Oh, we have the turn 2 cleansing Wi-Fi on the play. Sweet. I suppose this is the kind of magic we want you to see in this channel. The most powerful play you can do as fast as possible in your deck. So another island. Opponent is likely, well, it can be walls combo, but it can even be spy combo with the walls package. So Cyrillic Artica, Overgrown Battlement, and whatever. I think it is for the better here to cast over Bola Super Counter Spell. To be wow, I was expecting to draw something relevant, but indeed didn't draw anything. I think I needed to counter just the spy at least for now. So even if they have a lead stampede, doesn't really do much, and they don't have the overgrowth battlement. Or maybe they did not have the mana to cast it. Let's see. Another Gate Creeper buy. Alright. Forest. Brainstorm. Brainstorm is kind of really good in this deck. So we don't need Murmuring Mystic, we don't need another Breach. I should cycle this Lure Wheel. So I'm going to play the Bridge, just the turn, and let's see what is going to happen. Next turn we can play Overball, Brainstorm, and Ogre of Bolas. Okay, go for win away. So now they have an Overgrowth Battlement, Sidewinding, and some other minor stuff. 2 mana. Overgrowth Battlement. I think I need to counter the Overgrowth Battlement because I have 4 copies of Counterspell in my deck and 1 Travel Charm to counter their combo. But if I keep my mana and tap it, I can bluff even an answer, so they can't really combo off if I have enough mana. So by countering their battlement, I can play around. I can effectively play around the win condition because Overwrought Battlement let them just play all their big creatures and try the stompy alternative win con. Alright, we cycle the Lorien or Villain. I think I'm going to pick an untapped land. Galvanic Discharge doesn't really do much here. I'm going for Brainstorm. Scred doesn't do anything relevant. I think I want this Scred. Maybe don't want a Galvanic Discharge because I have so many creatures in the battlefield. I think I want the Archmancer. I'm probably going to cycle the Lorien by tapping the bridge. Yeah. So I'm picking, I'm fetching the is it dual and then keeping the island. I know what I have in my top deck. Oh, shot. I forgot I was going to play the dual land. Yeah, my bad. All right, a little misplay. Hoping they don't have another Masked Vandal to exile my bridge. Alright, they play another Overgrowth Battlement, that's fine. What they're going to do here? They're going for the Spy. No, that's not a Spy. Alright, this Seg Wildling is not a problem. We have the Galvanic Discharge. Yeah, I'm cycling the Lorien. Volatile Fjord. Ephemerate. That's good. I'm passing the turn. If they're going for Masked Vandal to exile my bridge, I can ephemerate my Roar of Bolas. I'm not really forced to kill their threat, their Seg Wildling yet. I can get some card advantage from the ephemerate first, then I still have 2 removal spells for the next turn. Alright, General Scent is not an issue. I have 2 cards in hand. I'm still blinking my Roar of Bolas to draw 2 cards. Hopefully. We have the Charming Charm. Now we have the answer for the combo. We need to find enough answers for their, for the big creatures. I'm blinking again the Ogre of Wallace. Brainstorm. Alright, this is a Moody Drifter, but it's still first prefer to cast Brainstorm. I like the bridge. I don't like having double discharge. How much damage I do with this cred? Just 5? Okay. Okay. I think we can keep us last. The lower the galvanic discharge. Draw next turn, lower the ability. Or maybe I don't need the Moon Drifter. I don't really need the Moon Drifter, yeah. Yeah. Go away, Moon Drifter. Because now I'm going to kill the Sagu, block Genor Scent, cast Archimancer next turn, bring back Ephemerate. And with Archimancer and Ephemerate, I think I'm going to win this game. We are killing the flying creature. And we block the... I don't really need to block the General Scent yet. I can block hit next turn and then scred it because next turn I'm going to have another island in play. Is 7 mana. Another Troll of Chasm Doom. Okay. I guess I'm going to scry the Troll of Chaos Doom over the yeah over the General Sand. X-Men Guardian, that's fine. And we cycle the lower villain. So I have 7 mana. I think we can pick the Azura's Dual Mystic. Okay. It is kind of okay. Ephemerate. And I play the dual land. So if the game goes longer, I can still play my Ephemerate with the blue-white dual land, even if they have another couple of Masked Vandals. They have 2 cards in hand. I'm blocking with an Ogre of Wallace. They got a bunch of mana. 7 mana. Balustrade Spy. They're likely going to target me. Yeah. Ogre of Wallace and Island. That is the last island I have in my deck. General Sand. I'm going to counter the General Sand with Counterspell. I don't really need to counter the General Sand thanks to the presence of Mooring Mystic. But anyway, game is over. Okay, so we're going to bring in another Trab and Chab. And that's it. I think we can cut. Well, destroy as will is good. We can kill the 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 Overworld Battlement with the destroy evil. I don't like this spell, that's for sure. I think there's no reason to bring in any Power Blast or Hydro Blast. I'm not going to bring in Godspirit Faithful against Spy combo. So that's it. We keep the singleton copy of this spell. My even though it doesn't really do much, and now we try to keep a better starting end with that one. Okay, still a very irrelevant starting end. Scrat is so bad in this deck. You can really play Scrat in the early game. I'm still shuffling a bit. All right. Okay. Let me think. All right. I'm going to keep just one counter spell and one galvanic discharge because it's very likely this first turn to cast brainstorm and then cycle with the Lorien Village. So I prefer to be able to cast galvanic discharge on example Surly Critica. And you know, it is kind of easier to cast first galvanic discharge rather than Scred. Alright, you have a land grant. Mesmeric Fin, to the forest. To play another land grant. That was a good start for them. So now they have 5 cards in hand. Swamp, Lottery Giant, Fiend, and maybe another Gatekeeper vibe. On another Kate Creeper Vine or another forest. Okay, I'm expecting something like Mesmeric Fin next turn, so I'm going for Brainstorm. Oh, I don't want Charm and Charm. I don't want to destroy evil and the cleansing Wi-Fi. Now, doesn't really matter. Or rather, I'm probably forced to fetch red because if they play Mesmeric Fin and I have red in play, I'm forcing them to exile Galvanic Discharge. But if I fetch white, they're going to exile my challenge hub unless I draw the red mana. So forcing them to exile Galvanic Discharge with the Mesmeric Fin is better rather than um, getting exiled. Oh, wow, the top deck, the Balustrade Spy. Okay, the turn 3 kill. It is a very, it is good. So they have Hunting Misery as a sideboard card and Firmacab. Don't bring in Firmacab against the Jeskai Ephemerate. It's bad. Like, you you want to use Firmacab to stop decks like Spy Combo or Dredge, not to stop my Ephemerate value in Giant. I'm not keeping an end without lands, without any lands. We have turn to Collision Wiper. Easy keep. No need for the moving mystic yet. I prefer the Moon Drifter because at least I can draw cards. Now we need to hope for them not having not Mesmeric Masked Bundle because even though I get I get bunch of mana ramp with the cleansing wildfire on the artifact lands, it's still quite annoying. They have again double land grants and second wildling. So now they have two forests in hand and another three cards. They have Masked Vandal, Spy, Battlement. Yeah, that's quite confusionary. I wonder why they did not. Ah, okay. They did not fetch the black because they don't have black mana. They have just one swamp. All right. We fetch the blue. And again, Mystic. Now they're going to exile the bridge to prevent me. Oh, no Mystic. That's cool. And we have a mountain on the top deck. I I think I'm not going to cast Drifter or Mystic here. I'm leaving them open so I can cast Counterspell if there is if it is necessary, or I can play the Brainstorm if they're casting Masked Vandal. Okay, I'm not letting you draw the black mana. I prefer to slow them down so I can even cast the Mesmeric Fiend or whatever. Gauge Creeper Vine. Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, I know what I have in hand. But I know as well I don't have any answer in my hand. That's really pitiful. Because I forced the counterspell on Sagu because I believe them not having the black, but they have both Sagu and Gatekeeper provide. I can't even cast my cantrips. I need to make them believe at the counterspell because I played the counterspell on the Sagu. Alright. Troll of Kazandu. Right. If I draw a Cleansing Wildfire, I can, yeah, I can destroy the swamp. Okay, let me think. Maybe I should play another Brainstorm. Next turn I have 4 mana. Yeah, no reason to not play another Brainstorm. Uh, I think I want as well the Mystic, maybe. I'm not sure. I want to play first the Ogre of Bolas. Yeah, maybe I'm going to draw the Muldrifter, cut the Ogre of Bolas, show them my Cleansing Wildfire, cast the Cleansing Wildfire on the swamp. Too bad putting at the bottom that counter spell. But you know, if they don't have the second swamp, this means they can't cast their bolstered spy. Alright, we have the fifth land. I think I'm taking 5 damage. Please don't draw so really critical. I'm going to cast Mood Drifter. Alright. White man as well. That's fine. We pass the turn. Devil Mystic. I was hoping to draw a Scred to kill the Ogre Battlement. Because if you kill the Overworld Battlement, we leave them with just 3 mana. And that's good. I think I'm blocking the 5/7. So next turn I can play Mood Drifter. Right, there's another battlement. Lorien doesn't do much here. I think next turn I can. Yeah, if I play the Mystic now, next turn I can go for the Lorien Village and I can, yeah, block with a token that Gino sent, and then draw an extra card. We block the Masked Vandal, of course. Nice. Ephemerate? That's even better than Lorien. That's more blockers and more cards. Galvanic Discharge doesn't really do much here, the Galvanic Discharge. I think I'm going to still playing this. There's no Coral playing, so I can cycle the Perilous Landscape. And unless they draw Lotus Petal, because they play Lotus Petal, I think we are not. Wow! Cleansing Wildfire and Swamp for the win! Quite unexpected. That's cool. That's so cool. Final match of this league. We are playing first on the play, and it is weird we have Muldrifter, Ephemerate, 2 copies of Murmuring Mist, and Revealed. The starting end is quite slow. We don't really have any interaction, any way to find the third land. It feels kind of mediocre, this starting end. I'm probably gonna mulligan it. And this is even worse. We have the cleansing Wi-Fi, but we don't have the artifact line. So we still have Muldrifter, Mystic, and Ephemerate. Yeah, that's another mulligan. Alright. We are going to put on the bottom an Arbor of Blast and the counter spell and keep this. And let's try going for Ogre of Blast on turn 2 and Muldrifter on turn 3. Let's see what is going on here. Restore. Well, whatever. Ogre of Blast. Shred. And that's good against a creature-based deck. I mean, they played Great Furnace, so the opponent is not playing a creature-based deck. It is Cycle Storm. But this deck don't play any basic land, which means if we find Cleansing Wi-Fi, we can indeed just trying their lands. Alright. Well, I think the worst cards here are Bolas and Muldrifter. I'm attacking with Ogre. Starting next turn, I can play the counter spell. So they're forced to trying to combo off right now. And I eventually have Scred to kill their creatures. And I can play Brainstorm during their end phase to trying to find another blue source. Tap the mana. Dark Ritual. Alright, they're going for it. Or they're trying to find another land. Another Dark Ritual. This version of Cycle Storm is very weak to Artifact 8 because they play just 11 lands and no basic lands. So cards like Cleansing Wildfire, Cast into the Fire, and especially Gorilla Shaman are very strong. It's also weak to Hydroblast, if I remember correctly. Well, we can counter Drowning Stinger and Ardent Elementalist. This spell is very strong against Cycle Storm as well. They have a lot of mana. Wait. I'm going to kill that creature. Let's see first what they're going to target, because with a Rip in the Grave, they can bring back the repository's cub. They're targeting Gate songs, right? So we are forced to wait for the Rip in the Graves before killing the Blood Celebrant. Right? Yeah, we kill the Celebrant now. I suppose we can't really do much besides killing the Mana Fixer. Blood Celebrant is a 1 mana, 1/1 creature that will let you fix the mana if you pay 1 black mana and 1 life. Repository's Cub is Ardent Elementalist, but worse, because if your opponent is casting Repository's Cub and you know you just kill all their creature, you can't resolve the Repository's Cub ability because you need to sacrifice a creature with a Repository's Cub on play. So if instead of Scred I had a Galvanic Discharge, I could kill the Repository's Cub, preventing them to return the Songs of the Damned. Repository's Cub is a very weak creature. In my opinion, Repository's Cub is not good, but it is powerful. The possibility to bring back the Repository's Cub with the Ripping the Graves, because you wanna, force your Repository's Cub to go to the graveyard. So you are kind of happy when your Cub sacrifices itself. So now they have a bunch of mana. Now they're ripping. Alright. Usually I always lose to decks like Cycle Storm because I often play decks like Jeskai Ephemerate, whatever deck that is not, mono red, rarely mono blue fairies, whatever deck that is very well placed against Cycle Storm. And when I play decks like Jeskai Ephemerate, it happens to lose to Cycle Storm when they try to combo off by 2 and 3 because you are forced maybe to go down to 5 or whatever. Alright, Journey Healer. So their recon is Journey Stinger. So they cycle and they don't lose life thanks to Journey Healer. Because the white one gives you life, while the red one deals damage to your opponent. So the white one at this point of the game lets you fix the mana with the Blood Celebrant. Eventually, it also lets you play Street Raid, or rather cycle the Street Raid, because without being, if you don't have Giant Healer or the other ploy, you can't really get back any life. So losing life makes you unable to cycle too many copies of Street Raid. Alright, I'm quite dead right now. Cycle Storm is more or less the weak variant of iTide. These two decks are very much different, but are non-interactive spell-based combo decks that can kill you starting by 2 and 3. And against against Cycle Storm, you just need Graveyard 8. Against iTide, it's kind of more difficult. I believe we need to bring in Charm and Ice Blast. We don't need the Murmuring Mystic. We don't need the Destroy Evil and this Cred. They can indeed have a turn 2, maybe. What is the name of the black creature? Well, if they maybe I'm not able to kill me with their combo, they can just generate a bunch of mana, land a couple creature, and then kill me with those creatures. So not keeping Mystic or Scred, or even Destroy to kill those creatures eventually can be fatal to me. They can kill me. But to be honest, I think it is very unlikely, that scenario, that it is probably better to not play around it. Alright, we have the Answers, we have Counterspell and Chop and Charm, we have Cleansing Wildfire, we have the very powerful Engine with Drifter and Ephemerate, but 0 lands. Okay, that's a decent starting end. we don't need the second Izzet bridge. And yeah, we can go for the bridge. Maybe the Aswell bridge. Yeah, that's fine. Because, at certain point of the game, I'm probably in need of the white mana to cast Traven Charm. So having the Boros one right now instead of the Izzet one doesn't really matter. Especially if we draw cleansing wildfire. It probably matters only if we draw a brainstorm. Alright, there is Mood Drifter, we passed the turn. Cycle. So they have basic lands. Maybe just in the sideboard. Armor. Another Hydroblast. I'm going to fetch with the Lauren Village. Island. And pass the turn. It's just a matter of time now. I mean, if we don't draw anything relevant, they can eventually kill us. Let's see what is going to happen later. I draw one card. Chop and chop. Okay. Since they have just two cards in their graveyard, I think I can try to evoke my Muldrifter. I have a Disper, so I can counter, you know, the Songs of the Damned. 1 mana. They cycle one card, cycle another card, and pass the turn. So they don't have any more creature. Alright, if they have both Songs of the Damned and Pyroblast, I'm probably going to be damned for sure. What is going on here? Why you play this creature? So their game one win condition is going off by turn 3, and okay, I, I didn't remember about this creature, but indeed they have it. All right, all right. Let's pass. No more creatures. I'm going to exile the graveyard now. So they can't play another Insect Warrior, the second main phase. I think they're not going to play anything, or rather, they can try to combo off eventually. Yeah, they have 4 cards in hand. Maybe they have a Ripping Race. Under Dark Ritual. Ripping. Yeah. Yeah, probably wasn't the best play. Charm Charm. They can cycle a couple creatures. Taking vein damage. Then I'm cycling the Lord Village and playing more Drifter my turn. Island. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay. Maybe I should go for the red mana to prevent them to have enough answers to my Drifter next turn, maybe. I think they don't have any more basic lands. Probably me wrong, my opponent. They don't have they don't have any basic lands left in their deck. I think we can go for the brainstorm here. Alright. Um do I need another lottery ability? Maybe yeah. Uh maybe I don't need that many art blasts. After all, they don't have they have just one red mana source now. Recycle, recycle again. Lotus Petal. What are going to do now? They're going to okay, they're comboing off, I suppose. One black man. Cycle Barrymore. They passed the turn. Okay. Ephemerate. How much mana I have? 4, 5, 6, 7. I cannot play my Drifter. Block. Ephemerate my Drifter. I think I still prefer to evoke it and ephemerate it. I can even draw another ephemerate. Ephemerate on Drifter. Pyroblast. The, one black mana. Recycle. Okay. Cleansing Wildfire and Counterspell. Okay. We can pass the turn. Recycle again. Hypothetically speaking, I can block and cast Galvanic Discharge, but since I have an Ephemerate in our bound, I prefer to go with the Ephemerate. I can do that next turn. One black mana. Cycle Monstrous Carbide. And they pass the turn. Oh, I should have cycled this Lorna Village to fetch another untap the land. Yeah, go for the Barrymore, cycle the land, and I blink my Drifter, Brainstorm, and another Counterspell, and another Brainstorm. Okay. I'm not sure if I needed to destroy another land they have. I have 7 mana. So I can cast basically everything I have in hand. Probably I'm going to play one land, discard maybe one brainstorm, and cleansing wildfire. Yeah, that's for the better, I guess. Now I can block, kill their creature. I still open to counter another insect or whatever it is. And blocking the creature. Don't really want. I don't really want to take extra damage now. Alright, cycle the Imposing Vantassar. They pass the turn, and that's good to me. So we kill the creature. 5/4. So just 2 damage is enough. I cast Brainstorm because I have a lot of elevated and one another land next turn. I don't need a Galvanic Discharge and the Mountain. I'm cycling the Lorem and I have just one island in my deck. Ogre of Ballast. I have 9 mana, so Muldrifter 5, 7, 9. I'm going to evoke the Muldrifter. Yeah. Maybe by tapping the bridge over. Yeah, I should tap the bridge instead of the second island. Parablast. Okay. I suppose I can cast my Hydroblast then. Is resolving. Time to draw the Ephemerate. I mean, I have 3 copies of Ephemerate in deck, but I draw another Hydro. And that's decent. I'll pass the turn. Now they have 5 cards in hand. For sure, they have another copy of Hydroblast. I mean, Pyroblast. And it is kind of unexpected. Not seeing them comboing off yet. I don't know what they have in hand. Maybe a lot of interaction. Here we go. The Ephemerate. You're the. I think if I tap another 2 mana, I have enough mana to play just a couple of counter spells. So just for this turn, I think it is safe to not play another Augur of Blast. We can pass, wait, and see what is going on. I mean, now we need mostly another copy of not copy of Arcumancer. So casting an Augur of Blast is not really doing much to me. I need a prefer to draw Cleansing Wildfire or Brainstorm. I still have just one copy of Brainstorm in my deck. They're passing the turn. I'm going to cast Ephemerate because every copy of Lorien Revealed, Brainstorm, Economy Wildfire is a good draw to me. Are you going to Pyroblast it? I can counterspell your Pyroblast. I have so many counterspell in my hand that it is pretty much free to me to counter your interaction with my interaction. Something is going on in this game. Dark Ritual. All right. This is good to counter because they've lost one land and it is a 2-for-1 that put some creatures in their graveyard, so I can counter it. Okay, so they. I think I'm going to dispel the this maybe, or maybe it is better to counter it with counter spell. Yeah, they went for it because I don't have any white mana open. I'm still going for double counterspell because letting them generate so much mana means that they can draw a bunch of cards with their cycling creature. So, wow, 3 copies of Songs of the Damned. That explains what they had in hand. Alright, yeah. 3 copies of Songs of the Damned, Rocking Graves. You get back a bunch of creatures, you cycle a bunch of creatures, and yeah, I guess at the end of the turn, you have still 7 cards in hand, and you can eventually Pyroblast my Augur of Bolas. But I still have a couple counter spells. The most annoying part is probably in them bringing back the Keating Gravestalker, so next turn they can eventually cast 4 copies of Keating Gravestalker to kill me. That's very annoying. I was expecting them having at least a couple counter spells in hand, but it had just a couple, just Songs of the Damned and Ripping the Graves. Oh well, anyway, to be honest, I think the most relevant part is not letting them comboing off during the main phase because their finishers are Sorcery Speed, the Drowned Stingers, or eventually the big creatures. So by not letting them comboing off during their main phase, probably I'm kind of safe. I can still draw another copy of Trap and Chop. I can draw my Archimancer, so I can Trap and Chop them during my main phase, preventing them to cast anything, hypothetically speaking. 2 mana, what are casting? Other ripping? No? 2 mana. Okay. Alright. So they had another ripping. They had a Cabal Ritual, followed up by another copy of ripping. No, that was the ripping graves they casted earlier. So Cabal Ritual going, and they're going on again with the clickety clickety combo. Okay, what's going on here? Overball Ephemerate solved this spell. And now we have another Ephemerate on Ogre Blast, unless they want to kill it with Pyroblast, preventing me to rebound the Ephemerate. It is time to shine Ephemerate. Show me a Trap and Charm so I can exile my opponent's graveyard. Yeah. Right. Alright. Let me think. I think I'm going to cast Cleansing Wildfire on my land because I need to shuffle my deck. Have a couple cards I want, which are the bottom, thanks to Ogre of Wallace. Then I'm casting Trap and Charm on them. Exile the graveyard. Boom. And then I'm casting another Ogre of Wallace. Because I I draw another Augur of Blast. We draw another Ephemerate. Alright. Alright. So now we have another Cleansing Wildfire and another Brainstorming deck. I think I'm not going to cast my Ephemerate. I can keep it as a way to time warp my opponent if they wanna kill me with their 5/4 creature, which is probably mm, my best case scenario. Um, this, but I guess I'm not like the idea. I don't like the idea of letting them develop their gameplay. Giant Stinger. Okay, I was expecting that creature. Yeah, I suppose you have 2 copies. Maybe I turned too late. Alright, you're a boss. Okay. This is your turn opponent, I guess. And force it to double block, but oh, I don't have any. Yeah, I have a couple galvanic discharge in my deck. Block, block. Ephemerate. I think I'm going for the galvanic discharge. So I get a little bit more time. All right. So here, no. Oh no. I clicked one less energy as it was supposed. I'm going to counter it. I have the counter spell so why not use it? Do you have another one? Okay, sure. That misclick. It hurts a lot now. Let's see if Overworkable S is a good card or it isn't. It isn't. Where is my Archmancer? I need an Archmancer, please. Let me draw my Archmancer. Why not a bridge? But at least I have enough Hydroblast to counter the Giant Stingers. Blah, blah. Alright, I know how I have copies of Everable as my deck. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, time to shuffle back those Archemancers, I guess. Last basic land, Archemancers. Bringing back the Ephemerate. Unless they have Furry Macabre, I think we are in a good position now. They're trying to find a Pyroblast. All right. We bring back the Ephemerate, black, Ephemerate Archimancer, bring back Galvanic Discharge, kill the other insect. What they're doing. All right, your turn. I block the first insect and kill the second one. Discharge. Hoping I choose the right insect. Yeah. What are you doing? During the combat, okay. I suppose I need to counter just the Pyroblast or Granite Stingers. They have left yet. Oh, okay. All the copies on various creatures. I think I'm going to counter the copy targeting the insect. All right. Oh, so they can cycle it. I didn't remember that part of the card. All right, so they misclicked. Okay. Red. I'm going to cast my Hydroblast. Time to rebound. Blink. Blinking the Archmonster, bringing back the Ephemerate. Brainstorm. I suppose we are allowed to brainstorm. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to block again, and then instead of casting Ephemerate just one time, I'm casting Ephemerate 3 times. I have double Hydroblast. So I cast Ephemerate, bring back Ephemerate, bring back Ephemerate, bring back. Oh, I can't kill the second Keating Gravestalker. Okay, I need to cast my Lore Reveal. Okay. We can do nothing because I haven't kept any Scred or Destroy Evil to kill those creatures, and I ended more or less killing myself. All right. All right. So when you're playing against Cyclostorm, you need to keep some scratch or destroy evil to cure the effects. Haven't thought I think misplaying against Cyclostorm can happen sometimes. The deck is not so much played, so it is easy to forget what the deck plays in the sideboard. All right, the result is kind of decent. We faced Pauper decks that are current meta game, like Red. I think the deck performed quite well enough. I mean, so we lost against I don't remember the other deck, but we lost against Cyclestorm. We won against Spycomb. So, in my opinion, Jeskai Ephemerate is just a matter on finding the right answers for the metagame. Probably you can be a more flexible with the amount of cards like Hydroblast and Pyroblast. You're probably not forced to play Good First Faithful unless you are expecting a lot of mono reds. I like Good First Faithful, but seems like you are kind of bound to face not face so many copies of mono red sometimes, and other times you face only mono red. So I hope you enjoyed this league. It lasted a long time. I mean, it went. I think we recorded something like 2 hours and even more. So it is probably a long video. So see you uh, again when we are going to watch it eventually between one round and another one. And see you in my next video. Hope you enjoyed it. And leave a comment behind the video if you like it. And see ya.